Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Bella Gamer, and today's video title is a little clickbaity, but not completely. Now, if this is your first time on the channel, or you've been watching recently, but not the most recent, yes, this is a green screen. No, I haven't done anything yet with it yet. There's a lot of darkness over here, and I need an extra light, so I'm waiting for that to come in. So that will come in handy. But let's talk about the title of this video. Why your build does not matter in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And any tabletop, really. Now, it's not completely clickbait, but I will say your build does matter to some degree. I mean, in some tabletop games especially, you can make a character who's literally incapable of even making base checks based on your character decisions. In Pathfinder 2nd Edition, this is actually much harder. Stat increase is very linear and it's very forward moving. Even if you were to do all your base attributes evenly as possible, even if you were to never take anything higher than a trained proficiency, you're still going to get higher proficiencies in things like combat, in perception, and honestly, all you need is just a general idea of what you want your character to do, and even someone completely new to tabletop can make a Pathfinder capable worth doing something. Will they be the best? Probably not, but that's only on build alone. And where your character's true power comes from is what they get on the journey. I don't think I'm the only one who has ever played a tabletop game and came out with a character much stronger than just leveling and standard character progression would have gotten me to. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. And even those who aren't, maybe you just haven't played enough tabletop, or maybe you've played with the GM who really doesn't work the system that way. This is not a universal solution because tabletop in no way is universal. Tabletop is going to be very specific from table to table, but a GM who respects the story and your effort into the narrative is going to reward that in some way or form. And most of the time, you can make a character very suboptimal, and all it takes is one really good item, one feat bonus you get from something, one companion you pick up along the way who changes your character from like an F tier kind of do nothing character to an S tier powerful character. And in Pathfinder, F tier characters are nearly impossible. Like I said, you're going to be able to do anything really as long as you put some idea into your build. And so that's the point of this video. The most important thing you can do for your character is to come up with an interesting narrative, to come up with an interesting story, to make your choices when making your character fascinating, interesting. Get the DM invested in your character, and it will pay dividends. You will see growth from your character by getting just random things. And even if your DM is not necessarily playing some kind of favoritism with your character, if you put the time and effort into your narrative, a good DM will not let good story slip by. They'll offer it to you. Now, if you're playing something like organized play, society, all that kind of stuff, or maybe you're just playing just a straight adventure path, maybe that's not as applicable. I know in organized play, there's only so much they can do. But organized play is also not tabletop. It's not real tabletop in the sense of an actual like campaign or narrative you're telling for your characters. It's just not designed to be that way. And while it can be a form of it, it's just never going to be as good as the real thing. And if you're playing just an adventure path, I mean, your DMs can still do extra stuff. This is not a solution for all tables. But what I will say is if you have a really good character idea and someone says, nah, you need to change your stats so you can do this or focus on that, or if you do that, you're never going to be really good at anything. You don't have to be good at anything specifically. You can be okay at everything. And like I said, it just takes one item, one boost to your character, and your build will suddenly take off. It's exactly what makes tabletop amazing and what makes the campaigns worth doing. The most legendary characters, the most powerful really ones, even in narrative, movies, all that kind of stuff, are characters who go through an arc, who develop and eventually get something beyond their means through the course of their actions. It's a common trope in a sense that good narrative, a good story is going to lead you there. You know, if you're a character who sets out a destiny to collect all the pieces of this legendary sword to form it together, you're going to end your adventure probably with that same legendary sword or something akin to it, something similar, maybe not godly, but powerful to pay off for the adventure. It's just the only thing that makes sense. Make your characters interesting, get the DM invested, like I said before, and you never know what kind of things your characters are going to end up with by the end of your journey. Now, I'm sure, like everything tabletop, people are going to argue or go into the comments and say this, that, or whatever. I'm completely open to that, and I also will say, to some extent, I will agree with what most people will say on the subject. Not every table is the same. Not every player wants the same thing. Some people want it a purely game style, but if you just want a pure game, then just play a board game. You know what I mean? Or at the very least, why are you on a TTRPG channel looking at something that's not about pure stats? You know what I mean? Everyone's here for a reason. Everyone likes the narrative aspects of TTRPGs. And I'm sure plenty of people in the comments as well will talk about the great things they got for their characters due to the narrative or a bonus their GM gave them. The biggest point of this video is you don't need to play a optimized build to enjoy tabletop. And you don't even need to play an optimized build to play the strongest character you can possibly play. The GM is overall going to be the one who gets to decide how powerful your character becomes, what items you get into your grasp. And it's true, optimized characters can also do great narrative and everything like that, but that's not the point. That's not what I'm talking about here. The point is, you don't need an optimized build to do that. And in fact, if you just play a build that you find interesting, make a narrative around your character's choices and stats, you're actually more likely to get a very powerful character because they're invested in the story, because they are part of the story. They explored the world and they overall paid the GM for the power by investing in the narrative the GM is telling. You are going to get a better character no matter what, as long as you are playing into the story, you're really working into it, and you don't die before any of that happens, which can happen for sure. Not usually. And if a GM is throwing very difficult combat at you, again, that's just something that's table to table. Most GMs will give you challenges that your group should be able to overcome, not challenges that players of your level should overcome, challenges that your group specifically can overcome. If your GM is making encounters too difficult for you, that means they're poor at judging the power of your group. Or maybe that's just the kind of game you all agreed to. If you agree to that kind of game, then you're probably not playing an unoptimized character. So, you know, it all kind of just boils down to the same thing. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I don't even think I need to ask at this point. And if you like conversations like this and my thoughts on tabletop, or you just want to see more of what this channel puts out, we do tons of Pathfinder, doing some Lancer, we're going to do other tabletop in the future, please subscribe. That's all it takes. That's going to be it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. Good luck with your games. Leave the bad luck to me. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.